First for any rings, you would need a ring size. So we will go finger and a ring rail. And we'll make it for a US size 10, which is the average male finger size. Through finger, okay. So this is the actual average. And we'll use this as the base. And our second thing is if you want any stones, which in this one we do, we want a pretty standard, like a rounds, 6 millimeters. It's pretty generic because a 6 millimeter looks big enough, but it's not excessively big, and it, for practical purposes, it's also not that expensive because it's not excessively big. Like a 4 millimeter is a quarter carat. I've temporarily forgot how much a 6 millimeter is, but it's a size that looks substantial enough to not look like you're cheaping out, but it's not super big and expensive either. So it's generally a good size. See? Like in relations to a finger. Like that. So we're going to head builder. It's going to be a 4-prong, 2 rail. It's very, I won't say generic, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it typesetting. We'll probably have to make the bottom a lot longer because we want it to sit taller up. Of course, we can come back and change that later as well. Okay, so prong size. Oh, right. First off, we're not going to be having angles. Usually the heads are angled a little bit, but because I have a kind of an idea for the rail part side design, so we're going to need it to not have any angles in order to better present the design. So we're going to get rid of the angle. See, head angle, we're gonna 0 that out. So it becomes completely parallel, which is a little unusual, but that's what we're going with. Rails, you tend to not want the round defaults. For top rail, because it's more compact, you can go for a deeper cut. Because it's going to be closer to... Oops, sorry. Go away. Closer to the actual item. The maybe you should do the lower. Oh well. Should be fine. Should be fine. Should be fine. Then side finger. We're going to need to correct some of the prong dome. Bring that down. Because it's easier to measure when the dome is not super high. Because we need freestanding metal. 50%, so it's about 1 and a little, so height above girdle would be around here. Maybe a little bit more. It's always better to have a little more for your jeweler to work with than less, because if you have more, then they can just cut it off to the size that they need. But if you have it too low, too less, then they can't magically put more on, so they can't set the gem then, or the gem would be set not as stable as you would like it. So it's always better to have a little bit more freestanding metal on top than not. Size. This is a 6mm, so we need the prong size to be a little bit larger. Maybe 0.3 maybe. And prong nudge, we can do it in low down, because you want a 20% prong nudge. 20% of it inset. So about this much. It's about 20%. It's so that when they cut it, they only cut 20% of the prongs to set your gems on. Because actually gems, these rails are just there to support the prongs. You don't actually rest. You don't actually rest the gem on top of the railing. The railing's not supposed to touch the gem at all. So we have got that down. Got the top down. Rail drop. Side view. Rail drop. Okay. I think we'll mess with the rail drop after we deal about how thick the rails are going to be first. Then we'll move it around. Rails. Okay, rail size. We want it the default came with it's too thin, so we're going to X size. It needs to be at least 1.1 in. And at least 1.1 thick, but we're probably gonna go thicker. Let's try 1.1 first and see how that... Oops! It did a thing. Okay. Let's... We weren't done with that. Head builder. Okay. We're not done with that. Where were we? Nudge, dome, rail drop, height above girdle, angle, top angle, 0, angle 0. Okay, let's write rails. Why don't we do... Is it rail offset? Do rail size and then rail offset. Okay. Because we need to move that later. Because when you look down, the rails are not supposed to be seen past the gem size. So you want to move it so you can't see it anymore from the top view. And that's what the offset means. Then we need to look for the rail drop because we need it to not hit the gem. Like over here you see right now the gem is clipping into the rails and that's very not good. So we need to move it down until we can see a gap. It doesn't have to be a big gap, but we have to be able to see black space in between the gem and the rail to make sure the gem is not clipping into the rails. And then you can see from top that you can't see the rails past the gem either. And this is why we need it. We can't have a cross section that's round. We need a cross section that has a diagonal in it so that I could accommodate for the gem. Okay, that is pretty set, which is great. The pillars we already set, so we're gonna head back to the level 1 of overall controls because we're gonna go side view and going to make sure, let's see if we can head drop right. So we're going to make the head drop more because we want it to clip into the ring rail later, like here, because we're going to move this up and it's going to sit here and then we're going to cut it with the ring rail later. So we're going to make it longer so we can cut it, because after we cut it, there still needs to be some space between the end of the gem and the ring. Essentially, other than the 4 prongs that it's going to sit on, the gem should not touch anything else on this ring, and we have to make sure to work around that. So it's okay we make it long so we have more leeway to cut afterwards. So I'm gonna go for slightly, whoops, and it decided it wanted to be. Let's dump it back into head builder. Okay, where were we? Right. We're trying to move the rails back up. Let's see. Overall control. Let's go for control 3. So that we can control the rails separately. Rail size is good, rail size is good, rail offset is good. It's the rail drop. See, now that we've stretch things out. The top rail is a little too far from the rest of the game because now it looks way too airy. You can see way too much space. So we're going to move the rail back up to where you can barely see space. Like so, back here, it's not clipping through, and we can see some space. So I think I'm going to up the rail size a little bit to 0.25 maybe. So everything looks a little bit more proportional. Okay, that's good. Let's go and hop on to the bottom rail. Offset rail Y size. Yeah. Pull that all the way up. You still want space between the two gallery rails, but you do want to pull it up some. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up to about 1 millimeter space between it. Oops. So about like that. It's good. Yeah, it's improportionally long on the bottom. But hold on, give me a second. Look. Let's change the profile of this rail. Let's go for wonder if we could go for this, and then we'll also change the rail profile of the top one to be a little less sharp. Oh, hi there. Thanks for joining. We're building a ring right now. Right now I'm setting the center stone. Yes, everything's a little bit more rounded. Looks a little nicer. And I think we'll be going with this. So let's finalize it. Ta-da! The center stone is now set. Go to side view and we'll move it into place. Oops, not what I wanted to click. Oops, through finger is probably easier to see. Ta-da! Okay, now we're gonna move this. We're gonna group it together because we want them to move together. We don't want to accidentally move one and not move the other one. Up, 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 up to the top of the ring and pass. We're gonna need at least 1 millimeter past it because we don't want it to just cut off all of the bottom rail. Let's see, let's use the ghosted so we can see where the finger rail is. Still kind of low, so let's keep bringing it up. This should be about good. Might move it up. We can always move it back down later. We just have to make sure the whole thing is past the finger rail so we could cut it cleanly later. And now see, we still have at least 1 millimeter here. Almost more. Could move it up slightly. See, this is pretty much the end of how we can move it up, because if we move it up anymore, then we couldn't cut it with the finger rail anymore. And that wouldn't be good because we want it to conform to the roundness of a finger. Okay, so now we have the center gem. Let's start building the actual ring. Okay, now that we have the center rail, we can import in the second rail. So let's F6. We'll just keep this on the side since we've been using it quite a bit. So we'll take this and we'll add an outside ring rail. That's pretty good. 2 thickness. That's decent. I don't super like the shape though. Let's get the shape nailed down first before we resize anything. Actually, do I like that shape? Maybe. I mean, we're not going to... The gem will take up the middle, so the bump in the middle doesn't mean anything. But I want it to sweep cleanly into this, the top rail. So maybe we'll choose a profile that is less bumpy so it sweeps in more cleanly. Let's see. I love these default name. Dip and egg 2 and egg 3. See what egg looks like. Pretty good. Pretty good. Guess we'll go with egg. Sweeps up pretty well, but I think we'll lower the top thickness a little bit. Like, we can always change this later, but I don't want it to get too... I guess you're right, yeah. It's very descriptive in a way that everyone knows what they're referring to. You're like, oh yeah, it does look like an egg. And top thickness is just kind of like blah, whatever. Side and bottom for 2 millimeters is pretty good. It's pretty standard. It's not a bad thickness. So let's go with that for now as the guidelines. We enter the second one. Then we go back to the first one and let's start adding profiles. Between 2 rails, or no, let's just add profiles. Start with the bottom. This is a pretty standard edge profile. We'll just go with this. It's a very simple, like, domed look. Obviously, that's not it, but so width of the ring. I'm thinking of having 2 side rails, so you don't want the middle ring to be too thick. So maybe we'll go with, especially if it's thick on the bottom, it's not really very comfortable. So let's go with middle with 4 or 3. Let's see what it looks like first. See what a 4 looks like. And then we'll do the height of 2 so it can match the other rail. That looks decently proportional. I'm thinking of putting 2 side ones, except that would probably come later. We'll see. Let's make the main body first, and we'll worry about other things other times. So let's see what happens if we just use the normal 2-2. I mean 4-2. We're just gonna go with 4 and then 2, and then we're not gonna put any tilts or rolls or offsets on this one. So we're just gonna go for the basics. And let's sweep this and see what our base looks like first. I'm gonna go surface. I'll sweep one. And let's put it on the base metal 1. And yeah, nothing was gonna go wrong for this one, because this is a pretty basic shape. See, this is the basic ring, and you see how it cuts into the middle? Later we'll cut it over here. Or actually we can just sweep parts of it. Let's just sweep it without the middle part. So let's do a delete. Then we can, instead of edit profile. Okay. Oops, please move. Okay. So the position. I'm going to position these so they're within the bottom rails. So we're going to go through finger and make sure they're insetted in here. Then we'll add mirror, I think. Add mirror. And I think they're pretty much set in there. Let's see what it looks like. Yep. They are basically... there's a little bit of them sticking out. Maybe I'll inset it a little bit more. Curve. We'll move it a tiny, scooch it in a tiny bit more. Oops, wrong way. See if we can... is it in there? Wow, that's really hard to tell. Well, I guess they are, considering I can't see them anymore. Oh wait, no, they're sticking out in here. That's not great. Okay. Let's try this again. Profile. Okay, let's Y offset. That's not the roll, twist, tilt. It's not it. Position. Where's the position little knob? Offset, offset, offset. It's not it. Quad, width, tilt, mid. And I'm just going to grab it. Is that inside? God, it's really hard to tell. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, I think that's it, because then you can't see it anymore. Fantastic. Now I'll have to put it on Ghost to find them again. But now I can just sweep it and I don't have to bother with the middle chunk. And we're going to enter. Oops. That is wait, escape. Use this, select rail, select cross section. God, that's It's not cross section. You know what? Let's just make this whole thing disappear. It's so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do it the first place. Okay. Yay, finally. Okay, we could turn back from ghosted to normal, shaded, and we can have this back. And then to make this a solid piece, we can cap it off. Cap planers. Okay, so now that's a solid rail. Yay! Okay. What I want for the top is actually for it to follow it up, except for on two sides. So how will I do this? Okay, let's... I don't want it from the second... I wonder what will happen if I put the profiles on here, but use the other one to sweep. Let's give it a try. These are gonna be smaller, so width, let's go with 1. Height, still 2. Okay, maybe 1.2. So, because we're going to offset it. Is it X offset? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna offset it so it's barely clipping into the side, yeah. Barely clipping in. And it's a little, I don't want it taller than the middle, so we're gonna make this height maybe 1.8, so it's slightly less tall. And we're gonna have one on the bottom and going to add, something happened. Eh? Oh, oops. I actually clicked out when I was trying to drag and move it. So we're gonna add one on the bottom, and then we're gonna add 2 on the 90 degrees. So we're gonna move that to whoosh 75%. It should be exactly on there. And we're going to add a mirror, so it'll be on the other side of the 90. And then I want it to follow the top one. So I was wondering if I can put it down here, it will follow it to the top. I wonder. Let's do a little experiment, shall we? So what if I do add, and then I move it to about here, and then I so it'll be about there, and then we'll Y offset it up here. Except we'll probably have to make it shorter because I don't want it to stick out of the rails. See, I don't want it to stick out, so maybe we'll make it even shorter. Make the height 0.5 maybe? Oops. Does not want to do the thing. 0.5. It's a little shorter. Maybe 0.4. And we'll move it up a little bit more. So to up here. That looks about right, I'd say. And let's give it also a mirror to the other side. I'm doing this so we could sweep it in one go so I don't have to then cut it out later. So let's enter and see what it looks like. Oh, it disappeared. That is completely fine. Maybe I would want it to be in more. Yeah, because it's slightly sticking out here. Let's see if we could squish it in there a little bit more. Oops, it did a thing. Ah. Is too far. So 32.5. See. That looks sort of okay. Maybe a little bit less. 30.6. We'll try this. Okay, yeah, it completely disappeared. That's great. Okay, let's try sweeping that. But differently, on a different color, so we'll see. We'll need to turn this ghost. Oh wait, that's right. Ghost kind of sucks, so we're gonna just make it disappear. That way we don't have to mess with if we're clicking with the right thing on the right thing or not. Let's try sweeping this. Sweep. I'm gonna use ring rail. Cross section, we're gonna go here to here, to down here, to here, and then to here. Oh, well, that was a little. Wait. Is that okay? It looks like it like did a weird convoluted thing. Wait, cancel. I think the UVs got a little messed up. Let's try that again. this, to this, to this, to this, to this. Enter order shape. Okay, let's try this again. Oh my goodness, it hates me. Okay, enter. Okay, that's a little bit of an issue. Let's drag scene point to adjust. Let's adjust a few of these scene points. That's not correct. Flip. Okay. I think this is where it went wrong. Oops. Stay there. Flip. Seem to flip. Okay. Oops. Okay, it should work this time. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. This is a lot better. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring the head back in. That's interesting. Maybe I wonder what happens if I make the top ones thinner. Maybe it'll look a little bit less bulky. Let's try that. Let's turn this off and we'll put this through not the actual piece but the curve. We'll put that through MSR again and we'll make it shorter. And maybe no, I think the width's okay because it's 1. So yeah, just maybe just shorter. It'll look less bulky, but probably not by much. Do I just want to go with the 1 then? See how it looks like with the 1. Oops, wait. Ah, that was not it at one point. That one. 2, height. This. Yeah, that should look less bulky. Maybe we'll give that a try. See, I like how it automatically updates because it has history. Then not to resweep it. It's great. Let's go with this. I'm not going to cap it yet because then I will lose history. So if I want to change it later, it won't automatically change like this. But I do like where it's currently at. So I'm going to mirror it to the other side. Just so I can have a better overall feel of what it looks like. I'll cap it before we put the whole thing together to make it solid. But first, let me... See, now we have 2 rails. 2 for the price of 1. Then I'm gonna bring back the head. We have the general shape of the ring now. Like I wanted it to go in to the head. But I also wanted it to have air because I wanted to put the two lion heads on the two sides later. So I wanted to kind of be propped up. But on the two, before we import the lion heads, I think because the gamut is gonna be round, it kind of looks like an O. So we can, I was wondering if maybe we could add a P on one side and a G on the other, and it will really be a POG ring. Truly a POG ring at that point. So let's see if we can do that. I think that will be kind of hilarious. See, the third finger, this is about 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. So let's see, we can add some text. It's a wild idea. But I like the idea of a corny ring. There's the text tool. So that will make it very... Yeah, I know. That's because Luca keeps saying POG all the time. I swear he's going to like repopularize that term all on his own at some point. Like, the term will die. No one else will use it except for him. And he'll never stop using it, and it'll just be his at that point. So, you know, we might as well at this point. Where is the text tools? Oh my goodness. Can you tell I never use it because it's such a corny, cheesy thing to do? See, but yeah. So I'm going to try to find the text object. Select, find, get, use. Is it text object? Command text. Oh, it is text object. Okay, awesome. So we're just gonna do the P and the G, because then we just stick one on each side. It will be 4 milliliters tall, and we'll change the font to something easier because we don't want a bunch of breaks. So let's find one that is that user that looks like maybe we could use that and bold it. Yeah, let's try this. Oh my dear lord. Okay, let's put it on a separate layer. Oh my god, this is amazingly hilarious. I don't think I've ever had this much fun. Okay, so first of all, we can use it like this. It looks pretty good, actually. I'm a little surprised because usually you can't just use text. Well, I'm going to round out the corners of this thing, but like usually you want things to connect. You don't want places to be too thin. Like this is a little thin, but I'm also not having it just free float. I'm gonna stick it on the sides of the head, so like structural integrity is a lot less important when you're just gonna stick it on top of something and you're not requiring it to hold up the entire thing by itself. So let's round out the corners first. What is these things? Oh, Okay. I found out another reason why I don't like this very much. Because there's these extra lines over here that I have to get rid of. I'll get rid of those first. Just gonna split them off. Split with point. See. Yeah? Why is it not like... Oh my god, is this an actual object? Oh, it is an actual object. God damn it. Okay. Wait, can I just have the curves? I feel like I could just have the curves. Let's undo this. Text. Can I just do text? What is this? Start point. Oh, okay, no. Cancel. That's not it. Let's do text object and see if I can just get the... Yeah, no surface, just curves. That was my bad. Bold, height forming. Okay, let's try this again. Take 2. Okay, much better. Just what we wanted. Only the curves. I don't want the actual objects. Because I'm going to round out these curves first. All of it be gone. It's not going to matter that much, that you can see, but it will help the casting process. Okay, that's much better. Okay, now we can make these into solid objects. Let's put them on a layer that is drastically different so we can see them really well. Let's make it orange. Let's make it orange and we'll extrude it, curve straight. And let's see how... Whoa, we do not want that. Don't want it to stick out very much, but you want... let's just go for 1. And we'll half embed it. And it looks good, so I'm going to extrude this one 1 as well. Both distance 1. Okay, let's grab that P and we'll side view, we'll slide it over to this side. Side view, we're going to go for a 90. Drag it up. Drag it up. Up, 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 up. Okay, let's see where it is right now. It's... Go from looking down. It's not exactly where I want it to be. We'll put it in... And we'll take this off. See what it looks like. Oh, it is too high up. Slowly inset it. Could be a little bigger, I think. Okay, I don't want maybe it can't be bigger because I don't want the P to be... See, it has to clear the edge of the ring. And it's getting pretty close. But I think we could make it slightly, a little bit larger, get it a little bit closer to the edge. Maximizing our space. Okay, you see, this is not, it can't, it's too far in. It can't be clipping in like this. So what we'll actually do is we will make it skinnier. Because one is clearly a little bit big, so we'll make it a little less. Because it needs to be at least 50% out. Let's see. Scooch it over. One thing that makes jewelry making so fiddly is that you have to balance the tiny bits. So everything if you shift it a little bit, there's quite a bit of a difference. So all the moving is done in tiny, tiny increments and adjusted as seen. Like, I want it inset, but I don't want to see it from the inside. So actually, let's move that gem so I can see the inside of it. Okay, so now it's not sticking out, so that's good. And is also pretty much embedded into the side, so that's also good. Okay, I think that's the best we can do. It's a little bit of pity that this doesn't line up with that. Except that I can't pull it down anymore, or it will actually be inside the ring when I cut it and it'll get cut off. So given parameters, I feel this is already at its ending spot. So we'll leave the P here and we'll spin this ring around and bring the G to the other side. Oh my god, this design is so ridiculous, but it makes me laugh every single time. So I guess that makes it a good design as well, because it makes people happy. It makes me happy at least. So oh god. I would like to say this is the most ridiculous thing I've made, but I don't think that's true. But it is up there. Side view, side view. Let's grab it and move it. We want to move it, move it. We want to move it, move it. I actually really like Madagascar, the movie, the animation. And Madagascar 2. I think I even, is there 3? I think I might also watch 3. And then the penguins in there are also ridiculous. Oh my goodness, this G's the wrong way around, my bad. There. Oh dear god, that would have been terrible. Scooch it on over. Third finger. See, that is too far down, because you can see it crossing the line, so we will scooch it up over the line. not too far up. That looks a little far up. So let's make actually. Let's make this a little bit small. Oh, there was a television series too. I know the Penguins had their own thing too. Right? Oh my god, there's gonna be a 4th movie. I would love it. I would love it. It's so ridiculous. It's great. Their shenanigans are so funny. Was there a television series though? I think I missed that. I don't think I watched it. Julian. Who's Julian again? It's been a while. Scooching it in. Let's disappear the gem again so you can see better. The spider monkey. Spider monkey, spider monkey. I honestly don't remember. Wow. I remember there was a lot of neurotic characters on there. There's 3 TV series. Damn. They're really milking that franchise for all it's worth. Three TV series. That's crazy. Okay, right. Let's make this one a little bit skinnier as well, so it can match the other side. Perspective. Let's scooch it in again. So it's nice and embedded in there. Let's go side view to see if they're about the same amount of embedded. Yes? Awesome. Spider monkey. I don't know. I should probably go find those TV series. I'd probably watch it as long as they're funny. Did you watch any of them? Okay, let's bring back the gems. Now this is literally the POG ring. Oh my goodness. Okay, okay. So the next step is... Oh! It's the crazy, the king. Oh my goodness. That's right, the king. I do love him. He's wildly hilarious and disconnected to everything. He's like so delusional that it makes a full circle back to he makes sense again. Okay, this is the original lion thingy, which we made. I kind of don't want this on the same layer, so we're gonna take these two and we're gonna dump them on a different layer that the lion is not on. Okay. It's a little more janky looking, but it's better to not share. Let's dump this on this layer as well, just to get it off the layer that the base ring is on. I only watch the movies as well. Okay, so this is gonna have to be even smaller. So at this point well, even if the stuff doesn't show up, I guess we'll just shrink it. Because as you can see from the top down, last time we were making it for a pendant, so the pendant was a lot bigger. I think it was 30 30 to 35 milliliters, millimeters. So it was a lot bigger than this. So this was good for that. Now I want it to be barely larger than the 6. How far across is this? It should be 6 across, right? Around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because I have it inserted into rails. So I want it barely bigger than 6, so maybe 7. So we're gonna take this whole thing and scale it down drastically. Let's see. Let's see if I could pick everything up. Oh no, that's not great. Okay. I'm sorry, Luca. You are not part of the process right now, so we're gonna have you go away for a second so I can use the space. I'm gonna take the whole thing and we're gonna shrink it down to that. Maybe even less. Let's shrink it down even more. I think I'm just going to leave it as is, even though the details won't show up, but I'm only going to render it. No one's going to make this into an actual thing, so I can just basically do whatever the heck I want at this point. So it's just going to be cute. Okay. So I think this is a pretty good size, I think. You know what, just in case, I'm going to duplicate this over here so I can have and then I'm going to use the duplicate to do my testing with. Whoa, that is way too close. Let's move it. I'm gonna take the whole thing and group it so I don't lose any chunks of the... That'll be kind of horrifying, right? There's just chunks of lion all over the place. Okay, let's see, where is it pointing? Okay, I'm gonna switch 90 degrees. Oh, wrong way. Now, whoop, it did a thing. I'm sorry, it's a slightly bit morbid. Okay, let's go for negative 45 degrees. Get into place first. Oops. What the heck is happening here? Okay. Can I actually make it slightly bigger? Actually, slightly bigger. Looks a little bit more substantial. Gonna tilt it and scooch it up. Don't want to touch the head. See, this is kind of why I wanted it to float. Because then you can kind of see it have a little bit more dimension. It's a little more interesting looking. I think we can actually make it bigger. Of course, then it's clipping, so I need to move it. Scooch it down here. Perspective. It's not quite centered, so I would... That's pretty centered, right? Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. I was like, this is the most derpiest thing ever. And then I was just like, no, this is kind of cute. So we have Augustus hanging out on this side. And I kind of like where he is. Kind of cool hanging out there. Let's see if the side view. Actually, he's not hanging out of the side view too much. So that's pretty good. So we can just duplicate Augustus over to the other side. Okay, let's also make this go away so I don't have to look at it anymore. And since I don't think I need him anymore, I'm gonna going to hide original Augustus here. Hide. Bye bye. Okay, so I kind of like this, so we're gonna cap these then. Let's do them one at a time so it doesn't try to die on us, because that would be terrible at this point. I would probably cry. So, cap planer. And cap planer. Unable to cap because one object was... Oh, it was capped already. Oh, that's right, because I have it history linked to each other. So if whatever I do to the original gets copied over to the other side. It's great. Okay, let's turn off the creation and then the finger rails. So we're just gonna be left with the solid objects. I don't think I'm gonna try Boolean this whole thing. Wait, let's ungroup this first because I don't ungroup. Okay, so we're basically done with this. So I'm going to try to see if it wants to render. I'll probably do the high quality render later because last time I tried it on stream, my computer decided it kind of wanted to die. So that's generally unfavorable. But I do want something rendered at the end. So let's do ground plane. And last time we used a very interesting marble texture, so we can do that again. Marble. Let's find it first. Marble tan, I think it was. Let's slap that on there. We are still not doing the sunroom. Last time we did sunroom and computer wanted to end itself, throw itself off the balcony. Go classic. And then we're going to let's just make this a classic diamond. Diamond. Yeah, rendering, I feel like takes up everything your computer has to offer. Like it just eats it all up. No matter how much you have, it will just eat up all that it can get its hands on. Okay, and let's do the rest of everything in yellow gold. So, I wonder if I could just... okay. Oops. That's not what I want to do. Let's see if I can grab Okay, let's make this disappear because there's so many parts. So I'm just gonna grab all of them and do that. Oh, I'm a little sad. There's no way I can get both the P side and the G side on one shot. Yeah, it's gonna have to be 2 separate shots, at least. I think it'll be 1 shot this side, 1 shot this side, and then 1... No, I think 2 shots would be pretty good. Right? 1, 2. I don't need one. Okay, so for... okay, let's save this. Save. Then I will actually move this gem up for the render. Because at this point it doesn't matter anymore, honestly, because we're not going to make any changes to the head. And normally, after it's casted, like, the gem will look much closer to the tops because the tops will be cut down to the correct length. Right now we're modeling them with more length so that the jeweler has more to work with. But in the render, to be a little bit more realistic, we're going to put it a little bit higher. So let's go for 1 render here and we'll see what we get. I wonder if it'll look better if the P and we'll do those in silver. P and the G. I'll maybe make them stand out a little bit more. And we'll also put the 2 rails in silver. Oops. We'll see how this looks. That actually looks pretty good. Not gonna lie, I kinda like it.